Hello, I'm Jerry Lintner, and this is State of the Town, a monthly show when we sit with our first selectman, Lisa Heavner, and get brought up to date on the state of the town. Captain, what's happened?
How are you?
Well, today it's hot in the old hot town today. It's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah, and it has been. And you've been away on vacation to cooler climes.
Yes, I had a great vacation with the family.
Well, I know we have a very prestigious guest today who's going to help solve the problems of the state, and
yes.
we're a good bit dependent upon that. But prior to getting to that, I read the most disturbing announcement in the Valley Press. Can you guess?
I can.
What?
I'll let
See
you
if
say.
you're right or wrong. Okay. And it was that you're not going to run for first selectman again.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
I did make that announcement. You know, the public made the decision to transition to a town manager form of government. The position that I currently hold will not exist in December. It will be called the same thing, but it's a very different position.
The first selectman, as will be defined in the charter,
Yeah.
is not defined yet. So who would I be talking to?
So it is defined in the charter. The first selectman position and the town manager position are outlined in the charter. So, but the town manager will assume the day-to-day operations. They're like the CEO of the town, and then
I know that.
the first selectman will be like the chairman of the board. And so, you know, for me to transition from CEO to chairman of the board, if you read any business magazine or any business book, those transitions don't work because you're still held accountable but without the authority.
And without the compensation.
Well, there's that too.
Well, I guess there's that too, for heaven's sakes. I mean,
I don't do this job for the money, though, Jerry. You can't do this job.
I understand that, but I don't get it.
Look, Jerry, we're doing this transition. The people of Simsbury voted for it, and we're going to make it work because that's what we always do.
What does it take to repeal it?
I don't know.
I thought you were going to get the answer. That's why we hadn't had a show in 2 months. You don't want to get me the answer on how it can be repealed.
Yeah, I actually don't know. But in fairness, the people of Simsbury did vote for it, and then we've always stepped
They didn't
up.
know what they were voting for.
Well.
It's the end of an era. And as I've said before, I don't understand why the other two first selectmen recommended to the charter to change it unless they thought they were the only ones who had been capable, or that they didn't do a good job and a town manager had done better. That's pretty judgmental, but nevertheless, I'd like to see that result. I think you've done an outstanding job.
Thank you.
I personally want to thank you very much. And different ones have had different skills and different talents.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that you have been able to do, I think, quite effectively is work in coalition. That, in years past, was a huge challenge in this town. And it caused bumps and delays in our progression. And just I really, really respect how you've handled that. So
thank you.
So from the only one who voted to keep it down. Well, now, this is crazy, though. You've gone crazy. You got some kind of a book.
I do have a book.
Well, talk about your craziness.
So I thought it might be kind of fun, although everybody thinks I'm a little crazy, and I'm not going to lie, you may be right on this, to have a community read on The Third Wave by Steve Case. And it talks about sort of the stages of the Internet, its creation, the connection to the Internet, social media, and then how it's going to transform our everyday lives through education and health going
what's
forward.
The accommodation for people who are blind and can't read? Are you going to read it aloud ahead of time? Over, you could do it. What is the fire station's community radio?
I could do that.
You could do that.
I could
so
do that.
They would be all prepared to also, because then you're going to get together and argue about it, right?
Well, hopefully discuss it and talk about sort of the technology that's coming and how we need to prepare for it and adjust the way we view the world. So I think I thought it was it sounds a little wonky, and I suppose it is, but but it's actually a very quick and easy read. So I hope people will join us. It's on Wednesday, August 16th from 6:30 to 7:30.
That doesn't give us much time. How many pages are there?
I don't know, but like I said, you can read it in a weekend.
Access the book.
There's some at the library.
Well, they'll all be checked out. This is going to be a mass turnout.
It's very interesting stuff. And the world really is changing, and we need to prepare for it. So
robotics.
And artificial intelligence and how that's going to change, and automation.
Empathy goes away.
Well,
See, town managers, the first step to that.
I don't know about that, but the world is changing, and it's changing rapidly, and we do need to understand it and prepare for it.
Okay. So would you like to introduce your guest?
Yes, we are very pleased to have join us Senator Kevin Witkos. John Hampton asked me to mention that he was in caucus today. So I always invite John and Kevin together. Last time we invited John, and Kevin couldn't come.
Oh, I see. I remember John being
Yeah.
here. I thought you were being, like, you know.
She's nonpartisan.
You should know that by now.
She's not. She really isn't.
You should know that
Kevin,
by
I
now.
highly recognize you. Okay, so now we have huge problems to solve. Everybody fleeing Connecticut. Yeah, industry, people, young people, seniors. I'm trying to get Lisa to give the open space to us old people so we can put little communes on those that belong to the town. But now, that's probably why people voted against her, because they knew she'd do that. So what are your plans? How are we going to get over this? What are we going to do?
Well, we have one budget out there. We know that's balanced. We're trying to get a vote on that. The unions ratified their contract yesterday.
That's $1.5 billion something?
It was announced this morning, so we're hoping to go back in on July 24th, which is our date to, if we want to override any of the vetoes that Governor Malloy bills that he vetoed from the legislature. He vetoed 3 bills, so we'll see if there's a will to override those. I don't think that'll happen. And we're asking for votes on the CBAC agreement and the 30 individual union contracts. And I think from there, depending on what happens, a budget deliberations will really start in earnest.
That eases some of the trauma, $1.5 billion. But then here's another thing that I get curious about, because right now the health care bill is back and forth. Initially, I do financial planning, and a lot of people looking forward to are in retirement. And I was telling them, they'll be comfortable during the election. The commitment is neither Medicare nor Medicaid is going to be affected. Well, in the bills that are being looked at, it's dramatically going to be affected. So once again, state people are left with, well, here's the amount you get. It's not based on the need. So how do you come up with the money to take care of the need beyond the money you get?
Yeah, I mean, there's acid tests. There's, we're watching what happens in Washington, D.C., how it affects us in the state. We passed a law this past legislative session that basically says whatever we offer through the Connecticut exchange will remain irregardless of what happens in Washington, D.C. So people don't have to shouldn't have to be in fear if they're purchasing insurance through the Connecticut exchange.
But Medicaid doesn't go through the exchange.
No.
Nor Medicare.
Right. Medicare, everybody wishes they could have Medicare.
Well, not the senators or the representatives in Washington.
True, because they have a better policy as a state employee to take the state employees' health care plan and pension plan.
Yeah,
that's what you see happening.
I don't mean a state. I mean federal.
No, but that's what they're doing. A lot of the federal delegation, they were at one point a state employee or a state legislator, and they've stayed on the state insurance policies.
Oh, their state.
Rather than go to the federal
state,
because it's better.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah. Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's
sure.
a big thing that folks are saying the state employee health care plan should be more in line with what happens at the municipal level.
Kevin, you both raise an important point. There's a lot of uncertainty both at the federal level as to what reimbursement the states are going to get, and at the municipal level, what reimbursement we're getting from the state. So all that uncertainty is leading to a lot of anger out there, actually.
And all that transcends down to the municipal level because we haven't passed a budget yet, so they don't even know what they're going to receive as far as state dollars for education and other issues, town aid, road repairs, things that we've paid for in the past that just haven't come to fruition yet.
Okay, listen out there, you young people. Revolution. Time to take over the government positions and support all this cut and aid for old people.
No, absolutely not. But you're right. It is going to start impacting people's lives, and it's going to impact health. And those are
people
concerns.
On the streets. I mean, you drive downtown to Hartford. You see people who maybe work out in these areas or West Hartford cleaning a house, walking back late at night, carrying their groceries, they're not doing that because they want to get their 10,000 Fitbit steps in. And what do they go home and how do they live? And when they get sick, what do they do and where do they go? And what do the hospitals do? I mean, if suddenly they have no insurance and they know Medicare is not going to cover the bill, do they say, I'm not sorry, we can't do anything for you?
You never get turned away at a hospital. Never, ever. That's why some of our healthcare costs are so high, because people got used to just going to the hospital because they know they can't get refused, and they use that as their primary care physician rather than setting up, health clinics where they can go for these minor things to be treated if they don't have insurance. People have just gotten used to going to a hospital. And in the urban area, buses go to hospitals, so you have the public transportation that brings you to a hospital rather than a bus that might go to a clinic on the opposite side of the city.
Yeah. Okay, so when's your next election come up?
2018.
You going to run?
I am.
Why?
Because I'm honored that I'm up there. I think as I move up in the leadership ranks, I have the ability to affect some change. Almost all the pieces of legislation that I was involved in this past legislative session passed. The governor actually vetoed one of those. One of the 3 bills that he vetoed was one of the ones that I was working on. But I get that, and it had some work that still needs to be done on it. But
well, I don't know. You got the kind of image and all. I'm the wrong party. You're not JFK. But on the other hand,
if JFK was alive today, he'd be a Republican, I'm telling you.
No, I don't think so. Not with Mr. Trump. I don't think so.
Okay, but what? How many Republicans have said they're going to run for governor? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, no, thank you. Too much of a time commitment right now. For myself, I'm married with children, and I wouldn't put my family through that right now.
What's the age range?
My kids are older, 19 and 21, but still, it's just, it really, and I think the effect it would take on my wife is just not fair to her.
Yeah.
Because people attack your family and they dig up dirt. If there's dirt to be dug up, all you're trying to do is just
dirt to dig up with their kids.
Of course not.
Do you ever watch House of Cards?
I've never seen that show.
You must watch that.
I'm 10 seasons behind.
Yeah. Well, I think
if I broke my toe, I'd catch up on it, on my little laptop.
Actually, did they give our full set away? If he runs for governor, we'll get it back and we'll give it to you.
That is not something to aspire
to. Is that Michael Spacey that's on that?
Yes, or Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
And Robin.
I don't know. Right.
Robin, right. And she is so classy. I did not know she was married to Sean Penn.
I did not know that either. And now back onto the state budget. We're not going to go there.
Okay.
Orange is the new black. Red is the new black.
Okay, so Kevin, what are your goals in the next year politically?
Well,
to accomplish? And
I think we've got to get a state budget. Politically, doing policy, there's two different things. There's politically, and then there's the policy end of it. And the policy end of it, I think, takes front row seat. I think that we're at the level now where the makeup of the House of Representatives and the makeup of the state Senate, people have shown through their electoral process they want some change. That's why we're at.
What kind of change?
Well, I think that we can't tax anymore. I think that they've said enough tax increases.
Where do we get the money?
You've got to do something with what you've got. Reprioritize. Government can't be the give-all, end-all for everything. Go back towards the nonprofits. Maybe some of the services that can be delivered through the nonprofits might be cheaper than the state doing it. For example, a nursing home. Can't not-for-profit nursing homes deliver the same quality care for their residents to the state, but at a fraction of this cost?
Because when Medicare first came in existence, that was such a blow to the insurance companies, and they made a very good case to the government. Insurance companies are a stabilizing economic element to a nation because of their long-term commitments by law to conservative investments. So thank goodness they were there in 2008. But they then said, we're going to lose all these customers. So they go to the government, and the government said, if you can demonstrate that you could give service under your Medicare plan, monitored by ours, creditable or better than ours, then we got a deal, and you could do the Advantage plan. So your point is taken in another situation that has worked, and continues to work. It costs everybody less in the long run because they're allowed to do that. But I don't know how that would work on other elements like, volatile. This gets both of you.
Oh, no.
Okay, here we go. Regionalization. Regionalization. Greater Hartford, with such a small geographic area, and one side or the other of 50% of the entities not having liability for taxes. And I had offices down there when a part of Southern Main Street, and this is when Advest was riding high, was going to be a financial...
across from the old State House,
Yeah, financial center halfway between Boston and New York. Great things going. Killed because it was, no, we have to have affordable housing there. I appreciate that, but at the same time, where do you draw that line? One of the ways you could follow Indianapolis's example, now we don't have like effective county structure here, and I know we're all 162 or 163 towns, my God, but Indianapolis made Marion County Indianapolis. I grew up 60 miles from there. It was a mecca when I was a kid. I went back in my 40s. It was a disaster. And now, all the Beeline corporations, that's the place to be. I mean, downtown Indianapolis is wonderful. So maybe you don't do all of Hartford County, but there's a regional council. Is that the greater Hartford area? I mean, that would do... Well, when Mayor Bronin came around, and I think my comment was misunderstood, I said, I see no problem with it, except then you have to have a place...
He didn't misunderstand what you said. I'm sure maybe everybody else in the audience did, but I'm sure Mayor Bronin didn't misunderstand.
No, because then I said, you have to have a place at the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a major thing. That's changing forms of government. But I don't see without that... No, something like that, or by another name or another structure, has to be part of the answer. I mean, we used to get back a nickel from the state for the state taxes we paid.
Right.
I think now maybe it's 7 cents or
About
something.
8 for Simsbury.
Okay.
So there are some structures. I mean, there is a lot of regionalizations going on. If you look at the Rutgers study, the University of Rutgers did a study on efficiencies, and you are most efficient between 25,000 and 250,000 in terms of population. Anything over that, you lose efficiencies. You become more bureaucratic. And there are regional structures in place, like the COGS, Councils of Governments, in which a lot of municipalities do come together, do regional bids, regional procurement, regional projects. And so there are mechanisms for that. So that is...
Well, I think Kevin is in a position to be very influential on the direction of that. What are your thoughts, Kevin?
Well, I think the municipalities do a good job already in doing shared services, and they find common ground where they can share either personnel or services or other types of infrastructure. To say to a town, everybody likes their local control, you're losing local control now because the state's going to mandate that you force regionalization isn't going to work. And I can speak from...
Well, except if you are
even if there's a carrot.
representative in that government.
I'm sorry?
Except if you are representative in that government, you're not being told, you're being...
So we try to do regional dispatching on the police side, Simsbury, Avon, and Canton,
Well, you were a
many
policeman,
times. Right.
Yes.
And so I was involved in part of... I think they did 3 different studies, and they just didn't happen. And at some point, there was carrots given to say, we'll help you get through that, but you had collective bargaining agreements and who had control, and it's all about control.
Well, that's
and people don't want to lose that
That's because
ability
people
to
don't
control.
like carrots. They like donuts, Kevin. So
Maybe we need to switch it. But when we did that study for Simsbury actually was not going to benefit economically by doing this combination. The other towns were.
we were going to be hurt negative. Well,
Yeah,
if
it would have cost us more. That's same with the regional health districts. We're part of the Farmington Valley Health District, and the state proposed that we broaden that to do regional health districts. So it would have cost us an extra $1 million to do that regionalization. So that's regionalization from our perspective that made no sense.
One of the initiatives that we talked about at the state level this year, and the governor proposed it in his budget, was the elimination of the requirement that every town have their own superintendent of schools. Now, you tell me that if Simsbury said, well, we could save ourselves X amount of dollars by, why don't we share the superintendent of schools with Granby or with Avon or Farmington? The people in this town would be like, oh, no, we want our own superintendent of schools. And that's where you get...
I don't know. The superintendent gets paid more than you get paid.
The superintendent in every town is the highest paid employee, generally.
Well,
in
will
every
town
community.
manager get paid more now?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, I will say, again, it goes to the size, right? We're a 25,000 person town, 24,000, and that really, you do need the individual leadership there. You don't necessarily save money by doing efficiencies because you'd have to hire.
What towns are under 25,000?
Well, there's a number of towns that are under 25,000, actually.
Granby, Canton, Avon.
Oh, really? Well, Canton, I thought maybe Granby?
Yeah.
And even then, you have to look specifics because there are some areas where it makes sense. As you know, Simsbury and Bloomfield are now sharing a building position. We're going out to hire a joint building position. So there are times when it makes sense to share services or employees, but there, like with the health district, there are other times where it makes no sense to expand in regionalization because it just costs so much more.
Well, you guys know, and I don't, so I will defer. But what about, like Massachusetts, tolls, where nothing slows down and zip, 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 they get you, and cool, huh? All of these people, we are the greatest shortcut between New York and Boston, and all those semis rolling over there, and those beamers racing up to get to the Cape. And
The 4-hour commute on 95, they're not racing anywhere.
well,
The
that's,
car congestion that we have.
for sure. But if they paid all these tolls, then we could make it a 12-lane highway.
Well, see, we're only allowed to do certain types of tolling. We can't do border tolls. We're not allowed to do just border-only tolls.
Not just only.
Right.
No, but you could do tolls, period.
But if we were going to do, we could only, according to what the federal government shared with us, we could do congestion lane tolling, so we'd have to add new lanes and only can toll those new lanes. So if we had tolls on roads
Wait.
Yeah, so for example...
Boston didn't add new lanes. I mean, Massachusetts.
Well, they have always had the Mass Pike. That's always been
A toll.
Yeah.
a toll. So that's always
But
had.
then we
But we've
used to
taken
have
tolls off
tolls.
of ours. So we can't, once you had them on,
You
take
can't
them off.
put
You
them
can't
back?
put them back on.
How do we change
So-
that law?
Well, that's federal law. So what we could do is, if on 95 we wanted to create toll lanes, we could create a new lane and we could toll that lane. Or you can do for the Hartford Viaduct, you can do project specific, so you can go out a mile on each side and toll that one little area. But that would create so much congestion to try to get it to pay for itself, and it probably wouldn't. It would cause people to go off into the neighborhoods, and it'd just be a mess. So unless we did a total overhaul, tolls are not in our foreseeable future. That's why the governor dropped it once he got all that information. You never heard the governor talking about tolls
I
anymore.
never heard about this information at all.
Yeah.
But, like, at what point we could have them and did, and now we can't change our mind and say we want to have them again? Isn't there some way to change that federal regulation?
Well, we've been paid and compensated for not having those. Through the Federal Highway Administration, they give us dollars for that. And actually, we get a higher percentage than Massachusetts does. Because when truckers, they have to do their interstate trucking, they pay. And if a state doesn't have tolls, you get a higher percentage reimbursement than states that do. So we
Okay.
are getting more than our neighboring states.
Lisa, Kevin is not going to have time to read your book.
He might.
He is so well informed and so researched on all of this stuff. I mean, where's the time to read this book? Could this book read other books for him, the technology, and then give accurate
There's
summaries?
probably books on tape. Yeah, you could do that.
No, I don't mean on tape. I mean it artificial intelligence. Like you could, all the stuff that comes across your desk, you could give it to the scanner and it goes through, and you put in certain things like we do on risk management for financial advice. You could put in tolerable, intolerable, certain things, and then it comes back and it gives you the points for your position, and you could get a lot more read, and then you'd have time to participate in Lisa's
I could just come and
project.
listen to her summary that night, though.
Right, there you go.
And just gain it from everybody else.
It sounds wonky, but this actually is a very good book, and I hope people will join. I enjoyed it.
It's probably sold out now, or will be after the show.
Are you going to come, Jer?
Well, I'm a techie kind of guy, wonky stuff. I probably know all this already.
Well, so come.
We can
No,
tell by
no.
that techie watch you have on there.
Right, there you go.
No, that's a Fitbit, and don't embarrass me. I mean, it is it is my constant reinforcement of what a lousy physical specimen I become.
That's not true at all.
Well, yes, it is. But so, okay, the third wave by Steve Case. I thought there was a woman's picture on the back.
No?
It's
No
only an
picture.
hour long, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
How
The
bad could it
book
be?
is an hour long.
No, the book is 200 pages, and it's a very fast read. And it's really interesting, Jerry. It really is.
What do you say, Jan? We could maybe each of us read it, cut the time down. Well, okay, we have, I don't know, just, only a minute left. Which one of you would like to hog the time? And
I'll give it to
I'll give it to, I said, give it to Lisa. This is
No,
a meeting
you
with
could
the,
do like
with
Kristen
the town.
said. She said, Kristen said when she edits, she said, Jerry, tone it back, tone it back, tone it back. That's the first time she's ever said that to me. I do get people who say, he seems like such an honest, straightforward guy.
How about that?
And when Mary was in office, people would say to me, why do you let her talk so much? Oh, and then when, oh no, that's awful. Anyhow, we did have another selectman work getting him to talk. It was like, Jerry, you work so hard to get him to say anything. But I have learned a lot over the years. I'm very, very sad to see our current form of government go away, and I really do question, for better or for worse, and that is not the point, whether people like or dislike me. The point is what they hear from the people who matter to them, and the fact that they have a direct vote and a direct say about that, or if they have a question, they can get in contact and ask for clarification. I see that being eroded tremendously, so then it becomes, in my mind, sort of a sham.
No,
But I'm
it's not a
rethinking
sham.
it.
There are other towns where this works, so we have to give it a try. This is what our residents have asked for, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice meeting.
Kevin, real pleasure.
Yeah,
Good luck
absolutely.
to you. And I can't wait to your next step. And this is August 16th. Our 10-year-old daughter could come.
Yes.
She could read the book. She's a very advanced reader.
All right, then.
Okay. So we'll see all of you there. What's the time again? August 16th
6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the library.
in the program room. So
Yeah.
there better be reservations because that can only hold so many.
Well, let's hope we have that problem.
Okay. And the name of the book again is The Third Wave. And probably maybe Amazon still has some in stock. I don't get a commission, so whatever. Thank you for tuning in this month, and we'll see you again next month on State of the Town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.